journey from Argentina to coming to the States and developing his business. And through his experience of this journey, then going back to Argentina and growing that business more.
Now it's been a year and a half that I opened my own business again. I had a couple of other businesses in Spain and also in New York. The first year was really crazy. I got to New York with $300. and that was everything I had.
Okay.
And I took $100 out, and the ATM machine didn't give it to me. So that was really crazy, and I was like, "What are we gonna do? We only had $300 now. Now I have 200, and the other 100 is gone. So what are we doing? How much do I have to invest, and how fast do I can remake the money that I'm investing if it fails. After that, I started meeting people, which I believe it's the most important about investing, because you start listening to other people thoughts and beliefs and ideas, and you can relate. Belgian chocolate made by an Italian guy, and they made chocolate shaped with different shapes, actually, like usually tools, with the shape of tools, like I don't know, wrenches and bolts and nuts, and you had like this mocha coffee in a like on a website, you have all the programming in the back end.
Correct.
This is pretty much the same. It's like the all of the programming of the business. You have all these things that are running behind the business that are super important. So I believe it's something that you have to catch out of the experience. It's not something that you have to go study to.
Correct.
Because you're going to pay somebody probably at some point, if you can,
Yeah.
or that it's going to do the business. It's going to do that part for you better than you, to be able to continue. That it's not so risky that if you fail, you won't be able to stand up, and at the same time that it's not so safe that if you do it, it's not going to move on your business enough to listen to somebody that it's not a big shot, let's say, and it's almost struggling probably as any person that is listening to the podcast. And because I'm just a regular guy that decided to open a store and see how it goes. And
today we have a very special guest with us, Ramiro Ascaso. Ramiro is a mutual friend of mine. He's originally from Argentina, and today we are covering a different topic. So the focus of the conversation is going to be on entrepreneurship and business development. So Ramiro has charted an amazing journey from Argentina to coming to the States and developing his business. And through his experience of this journey, then going back to Argentina and growing that business more. And I feel through my conversation with other international students and professionals, there is that growing spirit of entrepreneurship within them. And so that is why we wanted to have Ramiro join us today and share his experience. So Ramiro, thank you for joining us. I'll give the floor to you if you want to briefly introduce yourself.
All right. Hello. Hello to everyone. All right. So my name is Ramiro Ascaso, and I'm from Argentina. I've done some experiences around the world. I used to live in Spain. I lived there for like about 10 years. And also I've been working in New York seasonally. I've done 13 seasons in New York, working in a holiday market. And now it's been 10 years. I've been back in Argentina, and now it's been a year and a half that I opened my own business again. I had a couple of other businesses in Spain and also in New York. And so now let's hope this one it's the one that that stays for long, or that I can keep and make it grow.
Yes, no, I hope for the best, Ramiro, for you. But I want to
Thank you.
cover specifically the time frame where
All right.
you decided to come to the States.
All
And if you
right.
can tell us more about that move of coming to the United States in the beginning, and how was it? Like, the the challenges that you faced, the opportunities that you saw in coming to the States. So if you can tell us more about that time period.
Mm-hmm. All right. So everything started with my first season in Spain. I was working there as a lifeguard, and right after the season, I didn't have anything to do. Like already through the season, I've been talking with this mutual friend that we have with Martin, and he offered me a job in New York at this holiday market that I've been saying. His aunt used to have a booth there, a business there, and so we contact the organization of the holiday market. We got these positions. We were working as staff. I started really from the beginnings. Yes, now I have my business, but I done everything before that. In Spain, I was working as a lifeguard and barman or waiter at night, so it was really long shifts. And in New York, the same, because the holiday market usually opens for really long hours. So I was working a lot, shoveling snow, setting up lights, cleaning stuff for people. So really starting from nothing, let's say. And the first year was really crazy. I got to New York with $300, and that was everything I had in my pocket, and went to work. So hopefully, I was I was hoping to get paid actually really soon, because I didn't have much money. We didn't know exactly where to live. We were staying at a hostel. Um, it was pretty stressful at the time. Also, we were 19 years old, so we didn't care too much. Already, the experience and the adventure and everything was worth in the while. And didn't speak much English at the time, so I didn't have much vocabulary and or much fluent in English. So it was really hard for me. Martin was the one that was guiding me in that at the time. Actually, I remember the manager of the market, which was our boss. Um, a really really good person, and he knew that I was working. I was a hard worker, so he didn't want to drop me, and so he was keeping me with the people that could explain me what we needed to do. He had a really strong, thick Brooklyn accent, which wasn't any easy for me, and not even for people that really spoke English really well at the time. So that made me feel a little bit better about my listening, and so usually he was explaining everything and telling Martin to keep Mamiro with him, because they couldn't roll their R's.
Ah,
My name is Ramiro, but they told me Mamiro, and they called me Mamiro. So it was Martin. Let's do this and that. Keep Mamiro with you. Um, so that's how it started, and basically, I don't know. We were really hard workers. I guess they could make a couple of jobs just with Martin and me. Uh, we could take more than one people, let's say, job, because we were working really hard and fast, and it was a hard job and hard time. I remember also I have a story, let's say, that we didn't have too much money, and as I said before, so we went to with Martin to the Bank of America that's in the corner of University Place and 14th Street,
okay.
and I took $100 out, and the ATM machine didn't give it to me. So that was really crazy, and I was like, "What are we gonna do? We only had $300 now. Now I have 200, and the other 100 is gone. So what are we doing? What are we doing? We didn't have money, and so it was pretty stressful. I was also 19, as I was saying, I didn't have much experience with banks and everything. So I called my bank in Spain and said, like, "Yo, listen, I don't know. I took $100 from this Bank of America, this branch, on these streets. And okay, so basically they solved everything for us. And a couple of days after, I already had the money in the account, but at the time it was like super stressful. Like, what are we gonna do? We lost $100 with no sense, let's say.
Yes.
And I don't know. It was pretty rough times. We were living from a place to another. Martin had a friend. We went to live with him in Harlem. After that, we met a friend in common that we also have, David. That he took us in also in Brooklyn. He was living in Bushwick at the time,
Okay.
and wasn't the Bushwick right now. It wasn't a bad Bushwick either, but it wasn't the Bushwick that is right now. And so yeah, we were like this, like trying to meet people, getting help from every person that we meet. Actually, luckily, a lot of good people in our path. So we're thankful for that, and we were really lucky because I believe also in entrepreneurship and in businesses. There's a quote of luck that it's really important that we also attract it with I believe
Yep.
with just like with the willing with the person we are, and keeping our eyes open and our ears open. And but it's still that quote that it's something that we cannot manage, even if
Yes.
we're good to others, or even if whatever we do we strive. Still, you can either get that luck or not, don't get it. And I didn't get it in many other aspects. And so but we're thankful for the time that we did have it, no.
Yes. So you really touched upon a lot of different, I would say, qualities, right? And these are not just qualities of an immigrant who had come to the
Mm-hmm.
States, or rather any country, but also the qualities of, being successful after coming. Because yes, there are, as you mentioned, a number of barriers. For you, there was the financial aspect of it, there was the language hurdle, there was the hurdle of finding an opportunity to work. But I think three things stood out to me. It's like your hard work, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to show that you can take more than what you can and do it. I think it's about building those connections, meeting people, as you said, and finding good people along the path.
100%.
And the third thing, as it's luck, right? If you have those two together, then things would work out at its own time. Sometimes faster than we would want, sometimes slower. So with that humble beginnings that you mentioned, now when did things start happening for you? That now you felt, no, this is what I'd imagined how things would go, and you started feeling, that this is something where I can, build a business here or take home and do something on my own. And you started having that confidence within you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I ever got it. I don't know. I mean, it. I don't know. At least within me, it's hard to explain. I don't know if I feel that confidence all the time. Um, for me, it's like, I don't know. It feels like a risk all the time. I don't really feel really, I don't know, like super confident. In Argentina, it's really hard. We have a really complex economical situation and financial situation, just because of the crisis in the country that we're going through. Now with this president, hopefully, I believe it can get better. I know he's a little bit of a show, let's say.
Yes.
Um, but when you live here, I believe if you hear what he says, there are many truths that he says. And for me, as an entrepreneur, I um, I feel identified with many of the things. Um, so I don't know if I sorry, I'm going on branches, but I don't know if I feel confident all the time. Um, I believe that you have to believe like in the moment that you want to develop your project. you have to feel confident at that time. Then there will always be times of uncertainty, times of that you feel a little bit more secure, more sure, let's say. But at least for me, for now, that I'm a let's say like mini entrepreneur, because I don't feel like really like a big shot. I have a really nice store, super well located. It was a really big investment for me. It was actually everything I had. But I don't feel like a really big shot, let's say. So I feel insecure all the time, and that also I don't think it's bad in a way. If you can manage it, you can turn always all of the let's say the extremes are bad. So it keeps you aware, at least, it keeps you aware with your eyes open, your ears open, seeing, analyzing the situation, knowing the situation, listening to people, knowing what they think, or listening to them, see what they have to do, what they have to say. Um, and but I don't know, I started feeling confident. Um, I don't know if there was a time. I think it was more like I don't want to be an employee anymore. I want to develop my own business. I want to have that experience. I want to see how I can do that. I was feeling confident about what I could do, because I've been doing that as an employee for many different people.
Yes,
And that's what I felt. If I can do it for somebody else, I can do it for myself. Okay, now I have the aspect that I have to risk my own money, and that changes 100% everything. It has nothing to do to be an employee than to be the entrepreneur. But working wise, it does, in an aspect. When you feel confident that you can run the business, um, probably you'll feel confident enough to take the extra load that it takes, that it means risking your money and do all of the setup that you need in order for you to set up your own space, in order for you to do that work that you already know that you can do for somebody else, and now
correct.
you're going to do it for yourself. But it's a super big step. Usually, at least in my experiences, with a lot of fears and with a lot of stress, and but it's nice also. And I believe that you don't have to forget at any time, or at any failure, let's say, that it's an experience, and that you are learning about that experience,
Yes,
and that it happened also as you were an employee, because you were an employee here and here and here, and you were like absorbing experiences, and I don't know, building yourself, right?
correct.
So it's the same with the businesses. The problem is that you lose the money that you usually, when it fails, you lose the
Yes,
money that you have. But it's the same, basically. It's the same, and that's basically what I believe.
this, and I mean, I cannot say that I get you because I haven't
Mhm.
started my own business yet. I would love to though.
I
But
don't think sorry, I don't think people has to relate when
yes,
they do have, but when they have the thoughts and the ideas and the willing and everything, they can already relate.
correct.
Because if not, if you have to be an entrepreneur in order for you to be able to do something, or to feel related with somebody, then you will never, like, absorb those things that the people that are doing businesses or are trying to do business uh, will enrich you. You won't absorb those things that will enrich your experiences. And
Yes.
so sorry,
No, no, no. It actually
I
makes
don't
sense
agree with that, but
because I feel what you're trying to say is if you're always looking for the relatability of it, then you might lose what to learn from, because then you'll feel like, well, I don't relate to it, but you'll never actually like absorb or learn what from their experience, and then one day you can start your own and relate to those, right? So don't wait to relate to
100%.
someone to start something. I get what you're saying, but I want to ask you specifically, because you mentioned one thing while you were sharing, is
Hmm.
while you were in New York, at certain point you felt like, I'm working for an employer and now I want to start something of my own. What was it at the holiday market that you were working during that time? Um, and then what, like, how did you, because there is a lot of things involved, right? There's finances that you have to think about when you think about starting something of your own, where, how, uh, the people you'll get. And I want to ask this to you because right now I feel entrepreneurship is at a trend, right? People are like, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but what people don't sort of respect or understand is it's it's not easy. First, there's a lot of startups and businesses. I think majority of them fail as they start, right? So you need the right mindset. So I want to sort of understand that a bit more, as to when you had that thought that, oh, I can now do something on my own, I should try. Uh, where were you working? What things were you were doing? And then how did you take the next steps?
All right. So the starting point on the investments that I done, I think it was like, okay, how much do I have to invest, and how fast do I can uh, remake the money that I'm investing if it fails.
Yes.
Because when you start from from really nothing, everything, at least in my cases, I invested everything that I had. So I needed to know how long it was going to take me for me, to in order for me to save that money again, in order to try another path. So that was the first thing that I was my starting point at any uh, investment that I've done. Um, I was making some good money in New York. I was doing like about like 10 grand in like 45 days, something like that. About just like working, just doing hours and hours. I was doing like 16-hour shifts, more or less. Um, and from there, what I said before about working at the holiday market, then after that I started meeting people, which I believe it's the most important about investing, because you start listening to other people uh, thoughts and beliefs and ideas, and you can relate what we were talking just now. You can relate to some things, and you start choosing what you want to relate with and what you don't want to relate to,
Mhm.
and from there you start building your own dreams, let's say, or your own ideas, or your own projects, and thinking about the risks that you want to take. And in New York, for me, it was pretty, I don't know, I was going to say easy, but it wasn't actually. But the idea wasn't mine. It was from this friend of mine that I talked about before, David, that took us in the very first year that we went to New York. And from there we built up a really really nice relationship that we have. And from there, I don't know, I was working already for like 8 or 9 seasons with some Israeli sisters that took me in and really really took really really good care of me. I have a lot of love for them, because they treated me really really well, and they made me work my ass off, 100%, 100%.
Yes.
And that's was one of the times where I reached the feel that I was running everything, because I wasn't really really um, aware of all of the background things that were involved also in all of that, and I wasn't anyways after. But but I knew that I could run the business by myself. And when I was a little bit tired already with even with all the love that I had for them, talking business, let's say, I was already tired about doing that and running all the show. And so so I was a little bit upset. Let's say the relation was a little bit tight, and everything was fine, but the business relation was a little bit tight. And so I had this friend that offered me to participate in this business. At the beginning, we started talking about 50-50. They had an idea of selling the store still running. I went off that, but he kept on going. It was uh, it's Belgian chocolate, or it's yeah, it's Belgian chocolate made by an Italian guy, and they made chocolate shaped with different shapes actually, like usually tools, with the shape of tools, like I don't know, wrenches and bolts and nuts, and you had like this mocha coffee made out of chocolate, everything functional. You know, you can actually play with the pieces of chocolate and like screw them in and out.
Yes.
um they were really really nice. So he offered me to participate with 50%. Then the business was him and his wife. um, Actually, they had the idea because they saw it in Germany. They have she's German, and he's half German. And so they saw the product over there, also at a holiday market, and they decided to bring it to New York, and they offered me to participate with that.
Hmm.
And so I said like, yes, let's give it a try. I'll quit my job for next year,
Yes.
and we'll set up this business. But I believe the first that I think it launches you to build your own business, is like growing, or keep in mind that you want to grow. Because for example, I started like shoveling snow, changing garbage bags in the at the market, setting up lights for the vendors, and then all of a sudden I had an opportunity to sell for somebody. So that was already an upgrade for me, because I was passing to be in a booth,
Yes.
standing, instead of like picking up garbage and changing garbage bags for other people, and getting all soaked in chocolate, in coffee from other people, and
Yes.
shoveling snow. So I was already like changing my situation into being a vendor. And after that, I started like I ran the one of the stores for also an Argentinian friend that she was selling puppets. So I sold puppets for her. I set up the whole stand for her. She couldn't fly in that year, so I took care of everything. Um, and that went really well. And all of the people from all of the other booths saw me doing that. So that also gave me a little bit of press, let's say, or I don't know. People started knowing me. I don't
Yes.
know how to say it actually. So
Yeah.
so people started knowing me. So they started to see me as someone that they can rely on, because I was taking care of everything. And then from there, a friend of mine, also Argentine, he took me to sell jewelry that he was importing from Mexico, and remaking or redoing some stuff. So I sold jewelry for him, and then I went to these Israeli sisters that set up this business. That it was really really nice selling Dead Sea products, but they made their own brand, which is not really common. Usually, you have like uh, the two three big brands that Dead Sea products has, and but they made their own, and it was really really nice because it was like a little bit more exclusive. And I also got in touch with somebody that really set it up a business, the branding, the line, the products. So I've learned from somebody that that made a business from scratch. So that also gave me a lot of experience in listening to her, you know. And then, well, I got this friend that offered me that. and that was the first thing that I did. And then I got in. We went into an argue with his wife sister,
Okay.
that they put into the business after they offered me the 50%. So they say, like, we're going to have now 40%, 40%, and 20 for the sister of my wife, which I didn't want it too much at the very beginning. Not because of that, because I wanted 50% of a business, not because of, and I didn't want to share with too many, because I have some problems with dealing with different opinions and ideas. I mean, I do work well with somebody else, but I rather them have at least similar goals to me and similar
Correct.
ways of thinking the business as me. And this wasn't the case. So I decided to go out of that. I asked them to buy me out, basically to pay my part after the season, because it was going pretty well. And my old boss, she got to hear this. She got the news that I was running out of the going out of the chocolate business, and she decided to offer me a 50% of the Dead Sea Products company. And so I partnered up with her after the chocolate. And unluckily, we did just one season because of the also market problems, let's say, but not market holiday market, but market in general. These holiday markets are really running out of people, let's say. At the beginning, it was like a packed discotheque. If you
Yes.
ever went to a discotheque that you cannot even walk, that you walk like this, with
Yes.
all people surrounding because it's so packed that you can't even move. Well, the market was like that. And by the time that I went to partner with her, the market wasn't like that anymore. There was much less people running through the market, and the numbers for everybody were like 100% different. And it was already we were already really, really tired of doing the markets. I was already on my 13th season. It was 13 years going on the same dates to to do these markets. That takes a lot of energy from you, because those are sprints. It's not a long run business. It's a sprint.
Yes.
You have to set up everything in like 2 days, and they break down everything in one day, and run the business through these 40 days, and get the employees, get
Oh
everything
my
get
God.
everything up and running. And so it was pretty stressful. We were already tired of doing that. So we decided that that was the last season. We had some problems also with the I don't know if it's IRS or what, but we started charging taxes before we were authorized to, because we didn't know that we needed to be authorized to that.
Yeah.
So we started charging taxes, and then we were going to get a ticket for that. So the ticket was taking the part of the revenue that we were going to have from the business. So
Hmm.
everything went pretty bad that year. And so we decided not to do it anymore. And after that, I was already living in Argentina, and picking up experience from my father. He has a store for 45 years now in the same location, same store. And he has another store like walking distance to this one. So I went back to Argentina and started like picking up the this business, learning from my father. And that's what I'm doing right now. After like 8 years, 7, 8 years of like learning with him, I decided that it was time already to flew away to
Yes.
fly away and set up my own business. Not really flying away, because I'm still taking care of his business. and
Yes.
I'm planning to be like a little bit more in it, because now my business is taking a lot of time for me, because I don't have the structure yet. But that's what I'm building right now, in order for me to be able to take care of both businesses at the same time. And now with the challenge of trying to grow my own business, I want to open up more stores. And now I'm with the project of starting the e-commerce. Now I'm talking to some developers to in order for me to to be able to develop the e-commerce.
Oh my God, I feel there's so much that you shared with us, Romiro, in this last bit that I'm just thinking. Like, one piece of it is the experiences that you had. It's not just you were working at the holiday market, then you had experience working selling puppets, then selling jewelry, then you got into the business of at the Etsy products, and from there you got into a partnership for selling the chocolates. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so many different, I mean, experience in marketing and branding and working
Yeah,
with people. Uh, so I'm just thinking,
and
like, what?
everything
Yeah,
gives you everything gives you something different. You learn from all of them because everything it's about the same. Let's say. I mean, the
yes.
product can change, but everything teaches you something and experiences and
So that's in terms of, you said the main thing is the same. The products are different, uh, but the business, the learnings remain the same. Can you share a bit about those learnings and anything that comes to your mind when you look at all these different experiences you had? What are some of the key takeaways, sort of, that you understood through that journey, big or small?
um, well, for me being for example the states, for me I'm super thankful with the United States because they gave me so many opportunities and so many learnings and so many experiences that I'm super thankful. But it wasn't really a comfortable situation for me. I didn't have working papers in New York, so that's why I always done like this short period jobs. I never exceeded my 3 months visa
Correct.
because I didn't want to mess up with that. I believe, and I have the Italian citizenship, so for me, it never made sense to go mess up in the States. Like about that situation. I did some, of course, because I wasn't able to work, and but but at the same time, I didn't want to mess up too much with that. I knew that I had my limit, and I didn't want to risk
Yeah.
anything more than what I did, and I keep that thinking right now also. But so that was for me a little bit harder to uh, to do in the States because I didn't have too much connections and too much information about, for example, what I said about the taxes. Um, I believe that one of the experiences that I believe it's super important. It's knowing about the let's say all of the legal aspects about the businesses.
Mhm.
Um, I believe it's super important to know, for example, this. Am I going to be able to charge these taxes or not, or what are the paperwork that I have to do in order for me to be in a legal situation, not to mess up with my business, because or even with yourself, because even if you mess up with yourself, you're messing up with your business, because if
Yes.
you're not there to run your business, then the business goes over. So everything is attached to 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 everything. Let's say everything is connected to each other. So um, I would say that, like, at least know a little bit of the situation of paper working and accounting, and that's also something that gave my father business. I started working with him a lot with numbers and with bills and with paying the providers, and going into the bank and knowing a lot about taxation, like all of the different taxes that we have, which in America, in that aspect, it's uh, a little bit easier. Let's say here in Argentina, we have insane amount of taxes, insane amount of different taxes, and so that makes it pretty hard. But with the state, the problem was that I didn't have all of that information. It was hard for me to get an accountant, and many other aspects. Um, but I think it's really important because it gives you also a fuller view of the whole back end, let's say, of the business, because it's it's all the like the like sorry for that, in a like on a website, you have all the programming in the back end.
Correct.
This is pretty much the same. It's like the all of the programming of the business. You have all these things that are running behind the business that are super important. And that my father opinion is that if you don't have the front end, you will never have the back end. I mean, so, and it's also true, but at the same time, I don't share too much that opinion, because okay, if you don't have the front, you won't have the back. But if you mess up with the back, you you might risk the front also at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important also to run your numbers pretty well, I believe. And that for me, it's something that it should be really important. For example, it messed up with my Pepsi product business, for example.
Yes.
And because the tiredness that we were carrying and all of the situations surrounding that, the bills that we got, uh, it was such a share of the money that was incoming from the business, that it took us out of the business. In a way, it wasn't 100% what it took
Yeah.
us out of the business, but in a way, it's something that it really made us, I don't know, shake, let's say. And so that's something that I believe it's really important. And also to believe in what you are trying to do, because it's not about the believing that you are going to, I believe, uh, to transmit. It's what it makes you do. Because if you believe, it will make you do all what you need to do in order for the project to go on, because you believe in it. So you'll do anything
Yes.
for the project to go on, because you do believe.
I see. And I also think, uh, you know, you mentioned about the network, right? So it's about
Hmm.
having that belief in yourself, knowing the legalities of the situation, understanding the
Hmm.
back end and the front end. And you sort of mentioned that in your experience while you were, as you were working more and more, uh, that you're taking more ownership of things, right? Now, instead of just handling one part of the business, you sort of felt like you were running the whole thing. And that's what, sorry, made you realize that now I see the broad view, right? I'm not just selling products. I'm, for example, building it, working out the finances, selling it, and then also working out, now once we have the revenue, what to do with it. So that broader
Hmm.
under scope of things, uh, with understanding the legalities, with having that network with you, having that belief with you. I just have two
Hmm.
questions to that. This could be the final two questions, and then we can wrap up.
All right.
And
All right.
those two questions are, uh, the first one is, when you think about, um, the financial part of it, uh, there are some hard skills that are required, the accounting, things like that. Would you say that someone needs to get an MBA or like a degree, a master's degree, to learn that,
Hmm.
or is it something
No,
that you
I
can
don't. I
get
don't think
from
so.
experience?
I think those are many of the things that you can get from experience. You will know. I believe you will never be as good as somebody. I mean, you're setting up a business that probably is not that. I mean,
Yes.
you're not going to work as a what's the name in English? It's not accountant. They say something. They have another word for it. But you're not going to work as an accountant. So you just need to know I believe the main things and the main um, situations that you could have in order for you to run your business, but your business is something else. So I believe it's something that you have to catch out of the experience. It's not something that you have to go study to,
Correct.
because you're going to pay somebody probably at some point, if you can,
Yeah.
or that it's going to do the business. It's going to do that part for you better than you,
Correct.
because they're focused on being good at that activity that they decided to do for living. You're deciding to do a business that it's about something else,
Yeah.
um, and and that's, I believe, what you have to do. I mean, you have to be learning about. You have to, I believe, contact with somebody or give your business to somebody that actually can teach you in a way uh, what their view, their thoughts about their work, about their job, you know, and what they can bring into the business and what you can learn from them. But I think it's not a,
Yes.
a must have.
Yeah. So it's a prioritization of the experience instead of just learning things, because once you have that experience and you sort of understand things, like being the jack of all trades, like you understand some of everything, and you can put things together, and then as you said, you can have people who knows thing in and out.
Exactly,
And the second thing,
exactly.
which is very you mentioned it a bit, and I wanted to ask more, because when you're building a business, there's a risk that you are taking. So now I
Hmm.
want to like ask you about the risk component of it, because that's also so big, right?
Hmm.
It's different when you're working for someone, and it's different when you are the person running the show. Uh,
Hmm.
so how did you sort of navigate that risk aspects of things?
Um, Oof, I don't know. As I said before, my starting point was always like, okay, how and when, and I mean, how long and in which way am I going to be able to get this money back for me in order to start again if I need to. And that doesn't mean, at least in my opinion, that doesn't mean that I didn't believe about my in my businesses, but always you have to, like, know what's going to happen if it fails, because it's a possibility. I mean, you're going to do everything it's on your reach for not to be a failure, but it can happen. So you have to have a backup point, a backup idea, in
Yes.
order for you to continue. If not, you're going to collapse there, and then that's the only time that you're going to try. But if you have a backup idea, then you say like, okay, even if I fail here, I know that I'm going to continue.
True.
And that also gives you a little bit the that strive energy, let's say, that or that energy that makes you keep going, even if you fail, because like, okay, you have to, I believe, think that and take risks that you can handle after. For example, the first store that I started, it was in Mallorca. I opened up a place for with food to go, really really close to the beach, and it took didn't much money. It was everything I had at the time, but I knew that I could make that money in a short time in New York, for example. I set up this store with like a little bit less than a 10 grand, and I set it up everything on my own. I got that experience about working in New York, setting up businesses for somebody else. I mean, furniture and
Yes.
fences and everything, building everything. So I did everything for myself also in this store. But I knew that I could make those, like, I don't know, 6,000 that I usually make in New York, or 7,000 or 8,000, or 10,000 depending on the season that I was making in New York. So it was going to take me either 1 or 2 more years in order for me to recover that money, and that was a risk that I was uh, that I considered that it wasn't too much for me to take, that I could stand up again and try again in a short period of time. And that, I think, it's really important. And now I'm in a different point right now, but I'm in many aspects. I'm older, and I'm also with a bigger project that it also involves much more money. And now, for example, I was planning. All the situation in this country didn't allow me, but I was about to expend all of the money that I had in merchandise, and I was going to risk everything, because also this country is not really stable. So it's those risks are
Correct.
really important. But I was about to spend all of my money, and now with the situation that we have, I decided not to, and that's why I'm also like turning my steering wheel, let's say, into this e-commerce business, because the investment is going to be smaller than that what I was thinking, and it's going to give me another source and another source of income. So basically, the idea is to open and expand a little bit the sources of income for me in this situation right now,
Yes.
and that's what I'm facing to. So I believe you have to always try to be aware of the next step that you're going to do. You be as risk and as safeful as you can at the same time, in order for you to be able to continue, that it's not so risky that if you fail you won't be able to stand up, and at the same
Yes.
time that it's not so safe that if you do it, it's not going to move on your business enough, or in the at the in the speed that you want to give to it.
True. And
But it's hard to measure. It's hard to
yes.
measure the and to serve the those waves of the risk of the investment, that it's what we're talking right now, and putting all your money
Yes.
in it, and say like, okay, what do we do?
Correct.
um
Yeah, I feel it's like a balance, right? The risk versus the
it's
benefit,
like a balance.
and you have to maintain. And I think it comes with
Exactly.
experience. Sometimes you do something, it doesn't work out, and then
And
you
it's also
understand.
about betting.
Yeah,
It's also about betting, because and that's where the portion of chance and the portion of luck,
no,
let's say, it shows up a little bit,
correct.
because you're betting. I mean, you trust, you believe, and you make your move, and then you're gonna need to see how that move reacts.
Yes,
And sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse, and well, you have to be ready for both,
correct.
because when the business is going too fast, it's also really hard to
Keep up.
to handle it, to keep the steering wheel steady,
Correct.
when it's going too fast, it's also really hard.
So I think the takeaways from this was having that backup option, right? That if things doesn't work out, no, you have some other source to go back to, so it doesn't become like a one thing. If it fails, then you're done, right? So have some backup with you, that you can rely
Exactly.
on. And the second thing is understanding the market influences, right? And being able to navigate based on that, whether it's the country politics, understanding if the market demand is shifting. And so being, as you said, listen to people, right? Listen to people around you, so you can change
Exactly.
your business accordingly. Uh, no, this is.
Exactly.
I think, Romero, this has been so wonderful. I just from
Thank you.
hearing you and learning about your journey and your experiences, I have personally learned so much. And I think we can continue on talking and sharing more. But let's keep that for another time. I just want to say
Fantastic, not a problem.
yes that. Yes, this has been wonderful. I appreciate you joining us
Thank you.
from
I
from
hope it
Argentina.
was I hope it was helping to listen to somebody that it's not a big shot, let's say, and it's almost struggling, probably, as any person that is listening to the podcast. And because I'm just a just a regular guy that decided to open a store and see how it goes, and then the all of the experiences that we talk, it was just my working experiences, and that we can take it as a as a as it came out in this talk, for example. But you only realize about them when you look backwards, and you say like, okay, what did I learn? How did I get to the point where I am right now? But it's not something that I believe like, okay, here I did this because I'm going to learn that, and then I'm going to do this because I'm going to learn that. You just go out there, live, and try to and try to learn all the time, and like be always with what I said, like with your ears and eyes open, trying to uh, to this to pick up and to see what you are looking for,
Yes.
basically, and all of the little things that are going to fit that. And but I don't know. Hopefully, it helps. It helps somebody. And thanks a lot for making this interview to me. And it was really really nice for me to also go through all of this and to feel or think that it might give a glance to somebody of what it is, and that they might want to join
Yes.
to this thing that it's
Yes.
entrepreneuring, that I believe also people wants to entrepreneur things, also me. But and sometimes I need to also come back to put my feet on the ground and say, like, okay, yes, I also want to develop a unicorn, but it's me, it's Ramiro Ascaso. I don't know if I'm going to develop a unicorn, but let's start with a store, and let's start with an e-commerce, and let's start with step by step.
Yes. Ramiro, I just want to tell you, it's not, you mentioned how you're still, in the process, you're still juggling, struggling. I think that is in itself so much that people can learn from you, right? Through the process. The
Hmm.
enjoyment, the experience, the learnings come through the process and not the goal. And you just sharing that makes it so much valuable for, me and others listening this, right? Uh,
Uh-huh.
to understand the nuances that you will face, the challenges that you have shared, the mindset that I think you need to have to do something like that,
Hmm.
being open to things, being open to change. No, so thank you so much. It's very, very valuable, Ramiro, for your time. I know we'll have
Thank you.
questions, and we will continue these conversations for next time and find the time to work
All
with you.
right.
But I
All
just want
right.
to say, really helpful. And again, if you come to Boston, we should connect back and meet up.
100%. 100%. Hopefully soon I'll be back to Boston. Hopefully
Looking,
soon. Yes.
yes,
All
looking
right.
forward to it. Thank you, Romero.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Take care, guys.